Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast, where you can always get a hold of us at bjandbillpodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to the Facebook page, BJ and Bill. Make sure you write A-N-D, BJ and Bill podcast, and there you'll find us on Facebook. And of course, we want you to like this podcast. We want you to share this podcast. And if you want to take a couple minutes and, rate the podcast, I hear all of that stuff helps build an audience. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 20.
Episode 20, and not wanting to be caught with my podcast pants down, which sounds awful. I went out and I asked Mr. Google for songs with 20. So most of them, of course, are 20 years. But you do have the Zac Brown Band, Highway 20 Ride. That's nice. You do have a couple of like Kenny Rogers, 20 years ago. But my favorite, I think, especially for you and I, BJ Odom, Leanne Womack, 20 years and 2 husbands ago.
And of course, if we were to sing it today, it would be times 2 that.
And wives ago for us. But yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So there you go. 20, episode 20. Unbelievable.
I know, it is unbelievable. I will tell you.
We actually are getting a little extra publicity this week as we record. A friend of mine in the marketing business, a network marketing guy and a guy I've known in Naples, Florida for a long time, actually posted a question on his Facebook page just yesterday. Hey, everybody, what's your favorite podcast? And I just went, mine. and he wrote back. He pays attention. So he pays attention to his posts. And he said, okay, Bill, what's the link? And I put in the link to the BJ and Bill podcast. So we're getting some extra exposure this morning. Yay. Hi, everybody.
Kidding, man. Let's hope it's happening. Yes, let's make magic.
Absolutely, positively. So there you go. So we're both slurping on our coffee this morning. We would have been on the air sooner. Not that anybody cares because this is a recorded show, but we would have been on the air sooner. But my coffee making machine was running slow this morning. So I had to, because it's been so doggone cold out there.
Well, my wife gave away our coffee machine. So as you can see, I have a nice cold water of bottled water this morning.
Gave away those fighting words. Gave away coffee machine?
Yes, but she has like her own little fancy iced coffee machine.
Oh, okay.
And we have ordered a Keurig that is just like like the one we had. You had to put like, a bunch of water in it, but then it would set if no one had coffee for a day or two. So now she's got the single serving Keurig she ordered. We haven't opened the box yet because, well, it's just another box to move.
It's just another box. It's okay. Those Keurigs or whatever you call, they're nice, but they only make a little tiny cup for me, a small cup of coffee, and I would have 3 of those every day easily. And that when you start talking 2 or 3 a day, that gets expensive pretty fast.
Well, so, let me fill you in on some things, Bill.
Okay.
Now, the strength may go down, but you can make more than 1 cup of coffee with one of those cups.
Really?
In fact, I don't like my coffee real strong anyway. My wife will sometimes make a cup of coffee in the Keurig.
Uh-huh.
And then I will follow her and make a second. Now, I do say this, I got to open it again. Like open the thing that pops down.
Oh yeah, the machine, the lid on the machine. Yes.
Yeah. So you have to pop that back up and then pop it back down. But to me, but I'm not a big coffee drinker. I usually drink green tea.
Wow.
But to me, it tasted just as coffee as any other coffee I'd ever drank.
That is that's news to me. So yay. I'm still don't think I'm going to go buy one because of the, it's just another something. I've got a coffee machine on the counter of my kitchen, and it's been there. Well, you see it behind. Well, you can't see the coffee machine behind me. Now, for those of you not watching on video, because I'm the only one. But yeah, it's okay. I like my coffee machine, and I buy, the Gigundus coffee at Sam's Club or whatever, and I'm good to go. So I'm fine. Thank you for that insight. I'm fine. So how the heck are you this week?
I'm not doing too bad. I don't know. I'm not doing too bad. I think the stress is finally moving in. But this Friday, the movers come. I can say we're recording this, unfortunately, on a Monday. So I cannot tell you if the Buccaneers will win or not tonight, because, well, by the time this podcast drops to the public, it will be Wednesday.
Right. So we're going to be a little behind in football coverage, which is okay. That's not what this show is about. My other team now because I'm kind of in the middle, so I can pick and choose. My other team, the amazing and cool Jacksonville Jaguars, played an amazing game and came back big time. So let's say they are in the playoff.
Yeah, let's say they did an amazing second half
comeback, which is literally true. I'm watching the first half in pain, and I am texting my friends. Trevor Lawrence just threw his third interception in the first quarter, and it's not looking good, I think I was saying. And then an amazing comeback. So Trevor, I'm new to being a Jaguars fan. I admit I am a new Jags fan, so I apologize publicly to Trevor Lawrence and Jags Nation for my doubt. But I think we were all kind of doubting, so it's okay. But anyway, awesome game. I think he's still too pretty to be a quarterback, but that's okay. He's fine.
Oh, you like the long-haired guys, huh?
I'm okay with the long hair guy. And that was funny. Before the game, they said they played the LA Chargers, whose quarterback is a young guy by the name of Justin Herbert, another hunky, good-looking young man and with long hair. And they said it's like the battle of the two longest hair guys in the league or something. It was pretty funny. So anyway, but yes, it's okay. I'm fine. It's all good. All good. Now we've won the honor of play. The Jaguars have won the honor of playing, Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So out of the frying pan into the fire, as they say. So it's okay. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, I thought the first game was going to be a blowout.
What was that? The Buffalo one? Or was
Buffalo Miami game?
Buffalo Miami should have been a blowout.
But Miami held with them.
Miami made it close.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't cut. The bad thing about Miami lost, but they still played too good. Because the Bills didn't make the over-under.
Oh, the over-under.
Yeah,
the dreaded over-under.
They were, up by 50. They had to score at least 15 or more points.
Right. You didn't make a little. You weren't wagering any money there, were you, Mr.
Not that I would do that.
Not that you would do that. Okay. Well, but
I got to pay for the new house.
I was thinking back in the day when you and I were on the radio, that would have been illegal. But nowadays, it's like, how many apps do you have for putting a wager on a game? It's like, but DraftKings and all those guys, it's like you can bet anything on anybody.
Yep.
Oh, well, I have not done that.
I do it. I have a friend that was telling me about the over-under.
Friend of a
friend.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, so a friend of mine lost.
Okay.
I didn't lose any money.
Okay. You're still going to be able to afford the new house, I hope.
But my friend is cursing this morning. I will just tell you that.
Shout out to an old friend of the show and an old friend of yours and mine, Ted Fitzgeorge, who has been known to wager a few shekels on sporting events of various kinds and has been doing it, I believe, for a while. Although he probably would deny it now, but that's okay. We love you, Ted.
Now, I remember, and there was kind of like a tussle about this, but they finally got it arranged because for any of you that have lived in Southwest Florida for a long, long time, even before the BJ and Bill show, I think it was before the BJ. I'm positive it was before the BJ and Bill show.
Right.
I was a assistant cruise director on a ship called the Fun Cruise, which went out of Fort Myers Beach. They would go 7 miles offshore.
Gambling cruise.
And just float around.
Gambling cruise.
Gamble.
I remember it well. I did it a couple of times. I don't know if you and I or families or whatever ever did it at the same time, but I know that me and then spouse and friends did it a couple of times. Yes.
You may have seen me. I was the guy who at the beginning of the cruise would be up on the deck.
Right.
And I would do like a little scavenger hunt. I'd say, whoever can bring me a pink comb. I had the little wedgies or whatever, not the wedgies, but the coins, the dollar coins that would go into the slot machine. They weren't dollars, but they were the tokens or whatever you call it.
Yes.
So I gave away about $50 to $70 before every cruise up there, playing games and running around, having a good time.
Cool.
And then usually it was so much fun because, we had, usually there was a band on board and other things. And once you said, ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the limits and the casino is now open. And at that point in time,
snap your fingers.
Snap my fingers, and the top deck would become nobody.
Empty. Because everybody would run for their slot machines, their blackjack tables, whatever. You bet.
But it would slowly, as the cruise went on, one would come up, then another. And by the time the casino closed, you probably had about 75, 80, maybe even 90% of the people that were back up on the deck ready to party.
Because they were losers. Well, nobody, as they say in Las Vegas, winners don't pay to keep the lights on. The losers pay to keep them. So yes, there were, everybody. And I was one of them. You would go expecting to lose whatever you decided to lose and hopefully not anymore. And it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you weren't a big gambler, a lot of people said it was, they would bring two, like maybe $20, $50,
right.
Maybe even $100. Like they knew they were going to play until they lost it. But they said, because of the whole cruise thing and everything else and all the fun that you get, I don't know how you have fun losing money, but they would say, but I had enough fun where it was worth the, $50 that I gave to the ship.
Right. Everybody says that about Vegas. Well, you went to Vegas. Yeah. Well, how'd you do? Oh, I had fun. That means you lost a boatload of money. So interesting. I used to, there was a 2-year period about 10 years ago before my mother passed that I lived with my mother to take care of her for 2 years in Cleveland. And she was a big bingo player. And in Florida, the bingo it's okay, but it's kind of small time. It's, it's these little charitable groups and storefronts and stuff. In Ohio, bingo was a major business at churches, mostly the big Catholic churches. I mean, big, the mega church, not mega church, but the big Catholic churches. And you would go, I remember on a Tuesday night, we would go and you had to be there early to get a seat. And they would do it in the cafeteria / gym / auditorium of the church, which probably sat at tables 300 people, maybe more, and these ladies, mostly ladies, some guys would spend hundreds of dollars on bingo. And they had these little scratch off cards and of course there were snacks, and just unreal. I would see the ladies collecting the money and I'm like, you can't count money that you got to weigh that. You can't count it. It's so much. And what a business. What a money making. I'm not going to say scam. It's a it's a business. It's whatever.
But when you look at that business, just imagine what the casino business is.
Oh my God. A small casino, a medium-sized casino is $1 million a day.
Now,
at least that's what it used to be. It's probably more.
I would say we probably, because I was on that ship at least 5 days a week, if not 6 days a week.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
and sometimes doubles, because they went out for a day cruise and they went out for a night cruise. And I would say that there was maybe 20 people that you probably saw more than once a week.
Wow.
I mean, they were there like
Yeah.
almost every week.
Wow.
And then, like I said, there was a couple people that were there like almost every freaking day.
Wow. And you're going to lose. I mean, you got to know you're going to lose because those, I mean, God bless them, but those casino ships, the games were not as friendly as they are in Vegas. I mean, in terms of the odds and in terms of how the game is structured and all that, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. It's just a matter of time. Wow. I remember, that's funny you mentioned that, regulars at the bingo with my mother. Everybody knew everybody. I mean, it was like it was like you knew pretty much, you sat in the same spot, you had the same friends, and they showed up like Tuesday night at this church and Thursday night at that church and Friday night at that. It carried on. I mean, it was like, wow, and
Yes.
My mother, who had my father's retirement savings and her own, my mother didn't lack for money. $100 or $150 a night was not a big deal. Compared to some of the other ladies that I would see, and I apologize, ladies, that I keep saying ladies, the other people that I keep seeing, hundreds of dollars a night for some. Now, not everybody, of course. Some people would buy their little one page of tickets with four games on it. But, some people had 4 or 5 pages of tickets in front of them, plus the scratch off tickets, plus the snacks, plus the 50-50 drawing at the end of the night. Oh, my gosh. Now, the last game of the night was cover all the bingo spots on your card, and you could win easily $1,000 for the last prize of the night. So yeah, it was, if you did that, and I saw it done many. Well, obviously somebody's going to win every night. So yeah, it's not like you're going in with the intention of absolutely blowing $200 3 nights a week. Wow. But yeah, can't believe I just did that math in my head there. That makes it kind of crazy.
That makes it addicting. Now, I will give you a few things. Now, again, this was back in the 90s that I did this. So
Yes.
things about, maybe it was, the 90s, I would say. Maybe it had to have been the 90s. This was before my transplant. I remember that.
Okay.
But let me give you a few hints that were good back then.
Okay.
And I heard this from different pit bosses. Those are the people that are in charge. Those are the people that kind of walk around the casino that are like the bosses.
Sure.
They're making sure, they change out dealers every now and again and everything. They call them pit bosses.
I'm pretty sure anybody who's ever been gambling in one form or another knows a pit boss.
And of course, I got to know some of the pit bosses.
Sure.
And so I learned some things over the years. Now, they told me, one, if you are a roulette player, a good dealer can help you win.
In roulette?
Yes. And if they know that you are a big tipper in roulette, there are chances you may win.
Oh. If you're a big
I've heard this now. This is the only thing I've heard.
I know how to, roulette is the little ball that goes in the big spinning wheel and it lands where it wants to land. How the heck does a roulette dealer help you with that?
Don't ask me because I don't know. But
okay. You just know that it's possible. Okay.
That's what they told me. A good roulette dealer can help you along in the game of roulette.
Okay.
There's one thing that I learned.
Okay.
Another thing that I learned, and I don't know if this is still good today. I know it was good on the sea cruise. Like when you first come in the door or wherever the most activity is, like maybe by the bar or somewhere where people seem to go the most, like if they're going to go out or come in.
Sure.
Those slots are usually set up a little bit more than the rest of the slots.
To pay more or to not pay more?
No, to pay more often.
Really? So it looks where people are gathered. It's like, oh, look, people are winning.
Oh, yes.
Got it.
That's another hint I learned.
Awesome.
Also, I learned if someone is winning at the blackjack table or the poker table, And I don't know why this would make a difference, but they will change. And that's what the pit boss is also for.
Sure.
They will change dealers if someone is hot at the table.
Because they are just, I believe that casino management is just as superstitious as the players. and no, really. And because I've seen that in Las Vegas, I have seen where somebody will be winning. I've been at tables where somebody will be winning and they will change dealers again and again and again, just to try to change up the luck. Now, I have only one time in my whole gambling career of Las Vegas, because I lived in Phoenix for 7 years, and it was literally a 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive, 4 hours to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, which had Bullhead City, had I forget, right across the river, which was cute, small little gambling town. And then another hour over to Vegas. So anyway, long story short, 5-hour drive to Vegas. We did it often. One time I can remember sitting at a blackjack table where I got help from the dealer, where when the dealer deals himself an ace, he has to look at the bottom card to see if he has blackjack, because the hand is over right there. There's no sense in playing it. So I had a decent hand, and I had put a bet out, because when you tip a dealer in Vegas, typically you just put a bet out for them so that if you win, they win. It doubles the bet. It doubles their tip. And then they're like, oh, thank you. So I had a bet out for a dealer at a blackjack table, and I had a pretty decent sized, I don't know, $25, $50, who the heck knows, a decent sized bet out for a hand of blackjack. And the dealer deals himself an ace. I look at my cards. I looked at the tip. He looked at the tip. He looks at the card underneath, and I'm just like looking at him, and I'm like, well, and he literally says, you got a chance. And I'm like, oh, you don't have it, and it's okay. All right, fine. I'll keep playing or whatever. And I won that hand, and he won his tip, and on we went. So that was literally one time I got help from a dealer at a game in Vegas.
Well, they say a lot of times too, if the dealer knows the bigger tippers, they will try to, I don't know, they don't cheat.
Right.
But they kind of like,
give you some hints.
Go in that direction.
And the really, really, really pretty girls.
I never thought about that, but I bet you are.
Because they want to keep them at the table. They want to keep them.
Now, I remember this was years ago, even when I worked on the Sea Cruise.
Yes.
The Fun Cruise. It became the Fun Cruise and turned it then into the Sea Cruise. I don't know, but they changed names somewhere along the line.
Right.
And, but it started out as a Fun Cruise. But I know that there would be a lot of female dealers on the boat.
Right.
So I don't know if a good looking girl would help out in that situation.
No, but that's the good looking girls that are dealing the game are meant to bring in the guys with the money. And you see that. Well, I was going to say, you see that in Vegas or whatever. I'm not sure if you do or not. Have you been, or do you like the whatchamacallit, the Hard Rock Seminole Casino in Tampa?
I worked for the Fun Cruise and then the Sea Cruise for probably at least 2 years. Right. And there was other gambling ships along the way that I didn't work full time, but I worked part time for, did this or that. When I did the Sea Cruise, I wasn't in radio for about a year. I forget where I was, where I got let go, because things they're going in a different direction. That's the big speech they always give you.
That's the speech.
We're going in a different direction.
Different direction. Yeah.
So I got the we're going in a different direction speech. And of course, I had a contract with a non-compete and didn't really want to move out of the area. So I worked at a few of those gambling junkets. But after seeing and knowing what I know,
right,
it's hard for me to, I think the only game that I would play if I was at a casino, and I don't go really, but would be blackjack.
Yes.
That's
totally my only game.
That's the biggest chance there is. Your best chance, I guess I would say.
I would say yes, simply based on the fact that if you play it right, and not everybody does, obviously, because there's a lot of people that just come in and go, oh, let's try this. If you play it right, blackjack is almost 50-50, almost, and with a slight edge to the house, of course. But yes, you can get lucky or hot or whatever. And now the trick, and literally, God bless you, Kenny Rogers. You gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them and know when to walk away.
Oh, yes.
Because you're talking to Bill. You're talking to me, because absolutely positively I could be up $100, $200, $300. And in real life, IRL, as the kids say, in real life, if someone were to simply walk up to you on the street and hand you $200 and say, here you go, have fun, have a nice day, you would go, wow, thanks, great. But if you do that in a casino, it's like, ooh, I'm up 200. I can make it 400. I can make it 500. And in a half hour, you're broke.
Yep.
And the lesson the lesson that was beaten into me, with a baseball bat, but of course I never learned, because nobody ever learns, because it's gambling and it's Vegas and it's fun and it's exciting and it's glamorous, is walk away when you win money, walk away.
Yeah, it's hard to do for 99% of the people. That's hard to do.
I remember I was flying into Vegas once, and I think it was my ex-wife. We got off the plane, and of course, in Las Vegas, in the airport, there are slot machines, of course. So that's probably how they, pay for gas or pay for jet fuel. I don't know. But we got off the plane. First slot machine, it was, I think, probably our first time in Vegas, or, whatever. First slot machine she saw, she walks up, she puts a quarter in it. She wins 4 quarters, for her 1 quarter. I said, that's it. Put the money in your pocket, get back on the plane, go home. Leave a winner. And of course we did. But that was a whole nother story. But yeah, Vegas, I'll admit, my hand is up, my hand is raised. I enjoy that. I think that's fun and cool and American and loud, glamorous rock and roll, you name it. It's all those things. And I think it's really cool in proper sized doses, in small doses, just like a lot of other stuff.
Now, I will also give you one last fact.
Okay.
About the Sea Cruise and the Fun Cruise.
Sure.
Especially if you worked there and you were supposed to be back, especially because there was times, I think I did work the morning show. I don't know where I was, but I worked mornings somewhere along the line when I worked on one of these junket cruises.
Wow.
That's what I call them, junket cruises.
Yeah.
But, you're supposed to get back to the dock at 12:30. Well, all of a sudden it's 12:30 and you haven't even left the 7 mile out place.
Oh, wow.
I'm going, the first few times you find out about this, you go, what's going on? We're supposed to be back now.
Right.
We're still out here. Well, see that guy over there? He's up big time.
Wow. Wow. Really? They hold the boat and everybody on it?
Boat
so
out
somebody
there
could...
like 45 minutes to an hour. If someone was winning big, you always knew. If you looked at your watch and it was about time to start heading back into shore and you weren't heading, you knew somebody was winning.
Wow. So they wanted to give him the opportunity to lose, of course.
Yeah, they wanted some of their money back before they went back to shore.
See, cool, interesting. But those small, like you said, one guy, one man, one person having a lucky day at a blackjack table can can ruin your whole day. If you're a gambling cruise on a small ship like that might make a few $1,000 or something. I'm sure they made more than a few $1,000, but yeah, that's wow. I never thought of that. Now in Vegas, like you said, they'll change the dealers and they'll, bring more alcohol and all kinds of stuff like that. But obviously you're not moving a casino anywhere in Vegas, but I've never seen that. But I had never heard that story. That's an interesting story there, Mr. Odom. And did that happen a lot or
not a lot,
once a month? No,
maybe like once a month, once every other month.
Wow.
Now, I think the most I ever heard somebody walk off the ship with, because there was some people that would, big bettors. I mean, there was a couple tables where they were big time bettors.
Sure.
And I think one time there was somebody they said walked off with over $100,000.
Wow.
That was not
never
a day
coming
they were
back.
happy about. They were not happy about that.
I'm
day.
sure they were not.
But here's what the pit boss would say.
Uh-huh.
They'll be back.
They'll be back. That's right. They'll be back and we'll have another chance at them. Absolutely. And that's the same in Vegas. That, it's, well, that's just what, that's the $100,000 version of what I just said, with my story as well. People, it's like you're up a couple of $100 and it's like, ooh, great. Wow, I'm leaving. No, they never do. You come back for more because you're either addicted to the fun, to the action, to the gambling, to the whatever. So yeah, I get it. That's
especially
wow.
the people that spend that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
They're big time gamblers.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like the first rodeo.
Right.
So like the pit boss would say, and he'd smile when he'd say it, he'll be back.
He'll be back. He'll be back. Okay. We will be back. What a segue. What a segue.
And what's really funny, we started this by betting on football. So one final thought about the ship, because that's where I was going before this half-hour conversation.
20 minutes ago, we started talking about football betting. Yes, what?
They were just in the process of getting the licensing or the approval to do offshore sports betting.
Wow.
So that's while I was there. That was approved from the time I started till the time I finished. It wasn't there when I began the job.
Right.
It was there when I ended the job. And I was there probably a little over a year.
I have a hard time imagining how that would work, because if you were only out there I guess you could collect if you were a winner. There must be a way that you could collect even if you weren't on the boat.
Well, the Sunday, they would, stay out there for, they had long Sunday cruises during football season. Yeah. And then on Monday nights, they wouldn't worry about getting in at 12:30, but they could usually leave so they wouldn't leave until after the games were over.
Right.
But like I said, it started while I was on there, at least for the boats. They started offshore betting.
Interesting. And nowadays you only got to open up your little smartphone and there's the app with, whoever. And some of the big casinos even have their own apps. Like, MGM has their own, thing and all. That's crazy.
They even have on your phone too. Not that I have any of those because I don't. But, you can play, roulette, blackjack, all that, and play these same games on a phone with the right app and lose and win money too.
Yep. Or poker. I mean, remember all the poker TV shows, how popular those were years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Now there's tons and tons of online poker and stuff like that. It's cool. Awesome. Wow.
Insights to the world of gambling, my friends.
Well, it is a sure bet that BJ and Bill will be back for another half an hour of exciting talk. How's that? A little segue there.
Oh,
I know. So don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back. Welcome back to the BJ and Bill podcast. I'm Bill Stevens. That's BJ Odom over there. If you'd like to get in touch, the BJ and Bill podcast. Remember, like BJ said earlier, you got to spell out the A-N-D, BJ and Bill podcast at gmail.com, or just look us up on our Facebook page, which has exactly the same name, BJ and Bill podcast. There you go. So, all right, no more gambling here. What's that?
And don't forget, you got to get her trained. You got to get her trained so she'll be ready. But a lot of times you can say, and I'm going to whisper it so she doesn't.
Oh, yes.
You go, I'm going to say it loud. I can always say her.
Well, do you want me to bring her over? We can give her
bring her over.
Try.
See if we can get it to happen. See if we can make it happen.
We're going to make it happen. It's all right. I'm going to turn you up so that she can hear you, and you go right ahead.
Alexa, play BJ and Bill, the podcast.
Playing J&B podcast from iHeartRadio. Here's the latest episode. Steelers 2019 season prediction.
Is the easiest way to make a podcast.
Yeah, nope, they're talking football. Nope.
Now see, mine is playing it.
Alexa, stop. Yours is playing in the background?
Yeah. Let's see if we.
I'll try it over here. Hang on. Alexa, play the BJ and Bill podcast.
Playing J&B podcast.
J&B.
Radio.
Alexa,
Alexa,
turn
stop.
on podcast. You got to say, Alexa, play BJ and Bill, the podcast.
Alexa, play BJ and Bill, the podcast.
Getting J and B podcast.
Jay-
from
she's
iHeart
stuck.
Radio.
Stop, Alexa, stop.
Alexa,
She is stuck
what?
on this. Whoever
Alexa,
J
turn
and
off.
B is. Whoever
Oh,
J
my
and B is, it's just not right. It's just,
You know, sometimes she'll do it and sometimes she won't. I don't know.
is that something I can mess with is that something I can mess with in the app and then
Now, if
tell
you've
her?
got, now, is your phone connected to your
Yes, yes, it is.
lady friend, your
My lady
your
friend,
electronic
yes.
lady friend?
Yes, yeah, that's the one. Yes, yes.
If you open like the Apple podcast and somehow I don't know,
On the app you're talking about
on
the
your phone, yeah, if you do
Yes.
it on your phone, if she's grabbing things off your phone,
right.
like you can, if you have it on the Apple podcast and you say, "My lady friend,
Yes.
please play BJ and Bill the podcast." I don't know. She does with mine every once in a while. She just did there a few minutes ago.
All right. I'm gonna
But I
type
had
it
to train her.
in. You
you
had
didn't
to
do it.
train her.
She didn't do it for me either the first few times.
Wow. That's just crazy, isn't
And
it?
still now and again, I will say it and she will play some other wild and crazy thing.
Right. Now
Sometimes-
it's funny. I typed it directly into the app on my phone. Play BJ and Bill the podcast, and she came right back playing J and B podcast from IR. So she keeps going back to this. How do you tell her that that's not the right one?
I don't know. You just
I
have
don't
to
either.
scream and yell at
Well,
her.
yeah.
like
How about
a
if I
wife.
said that's not the correct podcast? Oh, she says, sorry, I don't know that one. All right. So you're not helping. You're not helping, girl. All right.
Oh, well.
Oh, well, that's all right.
The
That's
things
fine.
she will do and the things she won't.
The things, but I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. So I'm going to have to. All right. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as we speak, my wife is, speaking of wives,
Yes.
she is out and there is a lot of stuff out there, but she is putting the garage together and packing things in the garage. So,
Wow.
I mean, it's crunch time now. As we record this podcast, this is Monday, the 16th.
Yes.
On Friday, the 20th, 8:30 in the morning, movers will be arriving at the home.
Wow.
There is a glimmer of hope. A small
Oh, wait,
glimmer,
what?
but a small glimmer of hope.
Yes.
We are supposed to do a walkthrough tomorrow
On the new
on
house.
the new home. And what we have
Wow.
been told by the builder or the building manager or whatever, the guy that's in charge of our home,
Mm-hmm.
if there is not a lot of things that we find wrong, then they are going to shoot for a Friday close day.
Same day, the same as
Yep.
moving day.
Yep, that'd be great.
Wow. So you could, fingers crossed, have them pack up this house and take it directly to new house. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Wow. Cool. Keep us informed, as they say. Well, yeah. Okay.
They have
I was gonna
guaranteed, well, nothing's guaranteed. in the
Nothing
house,
is guaranteed. Nothing.
but they have guaranteed us we will close by the 25th.
And today, okay,
That's
as
next-
this podcast is recorded, like you said, the 16th. So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you won't be homeless for too long. That's okay. Good.
Yes, our next
Good for you.
podcast, I'll be broadcasting from an undisclosed location.
Park bench near the lake in downtown Orlando somewhere. I don't know. It's just, yeah. Okay. That's
You
good.
know what I could do? I don't think I will, but that'd be
What?
an idea. Because I don't know how the Wi-Fi would work or
Yeah.
how well the quality would work. But I could do it from the Starbucks at downtown Disney.
Absolutely. I was gonna say maybe even find a quiet spot. Well, they wouldn't like you talking, but you could find a quiet spot in a library or something like that. Some libraries have little conference rooms that you can borrow or whatever with good Wi-Fi. But yeah, Starbucks at downtown Disney, that would be cute. I was in a Starbucks with a friend actually yesterday. Interesting that you mentioned that. And it was hard to hear them because the most new Starbuckses, is that a word? They kind of have that industrial look about them where it's hard concrete floor, brick walls, and open ceiling with all the piping and the ductwork and everything exposed. And, you get just a couple of people chatting in there talking, and it's like, I can't even hear myself think. It's not super loud, but it's just a jumble of noise, and it's and then they got the music playing in the background, and it's like, wow, I had to lean across the table to hear somebody, and my hearing's, I think, still pretty good, but I don't know, maybe not.
Maybe I need to go to a McDonald's.
They're pretty empty, right?
No,
they're empty.
I will tell you this. When I worked at 106.9, The Bull,
yes,
it was in Arcadia, Florida.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about, and I don't mean to put smaller towns down because I love a smaller town. I love working in Arcadia. I never thought I would enjoy a small town living again, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely, and I would go back in a heartbeat.
Cool.
But I'm not ever going to move again after this one. But let me tell you, the problem with that area, because if anybody who knows where the old Bull used to be, if they're from Florida, even Fort Myers, when you're going up 17, you go outside Arcadia, and if you know where Wauchula's Alvo Springs is, the radio station was right in the middle, which means basically the country.
Yeah, near nothing.
Yeah, and so the infrastructure out there was not the best. And we had an engineer that owned the radio station that was fantastic with all computers and all that stuff.
Right.
But we had the worst internet in the history of internets.
Well, that was also 25 years ago.
Well, not 20. Let me see how long ago. It would have been probably over 10, 15 years ago I worked.
Okay. All right. Bad internet.
I would have to download programs that we would play over the weekend. Like,
right.
The Country Top 40 and the Brooks and Dunn, or I don't know. We had all these specials that ran on Saturday, and it seemed like Friday, crunch time, when I had to put all these into the system, no internet. So I would have to get my little hiney in the car, drive to Arcadia, and sit in the McDonald's parking lot or go inside for about an hour and a half just to download the 6 programs that we played on the weekends. And then I would have to put them on a little hard drive.
Yep.
Drive back to the station and insert them into the computer system there, where they would automatically play over the radio.
That's funny. Internet is. Now, remember, I got my internet story. Similar story. There was a time when I think were probably at that same radio station, and I was doing the morning news for you, and I would record it and send you the audio file via internet, via email, computer, and all that. I was visiting our friend, Miss Vicky, up in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and I was driving back to Florida literally in the middle of the night, because it's about a 6 or an 8 hour drive from Blue Ridge down to Southwest Florida. And I remembered, oh my God, I didn't send BJ the news for the next morning as I left Blue Ridge. And so I did exactly that thing, which was I stopped at a McDonald's parking lot at about 1 o'clock in the morning in Canton, Georgia, or somewhere right off the highway, got on the internet, put the newscast together, recorded it on the microphone on the little laptop computer, and emailed it to you from the McDonald's parking lot in Canton, Georgia, in the middle of the night. And thank you, Ronald McDonald, wherever you are, for having internet. Now, that was a long time ago, and I'm not sure that they're still like blasting free internet around the neighborhood. I don't know if they're doing that or not. They might have it where you have to get the little code, the little, cheat code for the day or something like that, which they print on the receivers. Sure. I don't know, but I haven't seen it. No, thankfully I haven't needed that service in a long time, but who knows?
Now, when I worked in Southwest Florida and my wife still worked, And, I was kind of retired because I wasn't, really working. I was just doing the comedy stuff.
Right.
A lot of times during the day, I would be bored.
Be
I would go
bored.
to the Starbucks, which was less than 2 miles away from our house,
Right.
sit there, do emails, do this, do that. And I would do all my work there.
Sure.
So either Starbucks or McDonald's was my to-go place for internet.
And I same here. Or Panera Bread. God bless you, because they had comfy tables and nice and good coffee that, it wasn't crazy expensive like Starbucks. But yes, I see tons of people, even yesterday morning it was literally a Sunday morning at a Starbucks in a small town outside of Gainesville, where we met up with some friends, and there were a couple of guys on their computer working away, at the start. And I'm like, that seems cool. That's like, wouldn't it be cool to be able to just travel the country and go to Starbucks or Panera and do work from a laptop and all of that stuff? And then I'm like, yeah, that can, but if I'm traveling, do I want to bother with working? I'd rather just have the money to be able to travel and not worry about it. But still, the fact that you can is kind of cool. I think that appeals to me on some level, to be able to just take my laptop and go. I like that.
Now, let me ask you another question, since we're talking about Starbucks, McDonald's, and Panera.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're taking a long road trip. I know what you would say. You're not near a Buc-ee's, but obviously you have to use the restroom.
Yes.
Do you go to a rest stop, or is there like a particular place, a particular gas station, particular restaurant that you'll go to every time? I mean, that's the one you look for. That is your destination to take a dump.
Well, obviously, if you're near one, Buc-ee's is your only. I mean, there's Buc-ee's and then there's everybody else. The problem is there's none on the west side of Florida. On the east side, there's one near whatchamacallit, near St. Augustine.
And Daytona.
And Daytona, right? I think they're kind of working their way south along I-95. I stopped at one when I was traveling north in where the Air Force Base is in South Georgia. I forget the name of it. Warner Robins. There's one in Warner Robins, Georgia. So far, that's been my first and only Buc-ee's visit. And it is all that they say it is and more. It's unbelievable what they're. Now, having said that, I'll answer your question. I'm okay with one of the other, shall we say, premium gas stations, like a Wawa. They're very nice. They're fine. Yep. A big like racetrack or something like that. That's fine. It's those small town, gas stations with, the bathroom's out back.
Here's the key on a big old block.
It's okay. I'll go on to the next place. Thank you very much. Well, of course, I'm a guy, so I'm not probably as particular as some of our lady listeners might be. So I'm not. But again, yes, I'm not. If there's a Wawa next door to a little trashy gas station, I'm definitely going to the Wawa or the Sheetz. Have you ever been up north? There's a thing called Sheetz too. Sheetz. Sheetz.
Never been there, but I had it last week.
Yeah, me too. But that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. Yeah, I always thought, what a weird name. But it's Sheetz is for you up north, and I know we have some northern listeners. Ohio, upstate PA, upstate New York. They're all over up there, but that's where I'm familiar with them. It's like Wawa, but it's a little bigger, and same kind of thing with food. Now, Wawa, they're awesome. I mean, you could do the laptop lifestyle at Wawa because they have internet, and you could sit outside if it's a nice day, and the food is. I'm going to say it. Good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Their sandwiches are way better than fast food sandwiches. That's for sure. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not, this all started out with idea of like, what if you do it on a road trip? I don't care. I'm not super particular. I'm not, highway rest stop, good. Thank you, state of Florida. You do a pretty good job in keeping the rest stops clean and all that. So I get it.
Those are usually clean. So if there's one in a distance where I know I can get to, I'll do that. But if not, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am there at the McDonald's. Seems they have the cleanest restaurants that I've found as far as being on the road. And a lot of times even cleaner than a lot of the, like you said, the better known gas stations.
Yeah, the gas stations, they get a lot of traffic. They get a lot of, people coming through and all that. So McDonald's not bad. Now, who goes into McDonald's anymore? Nobody does. It's like crazy. I would, if they were side by side, I would choose a Chick-fil-A over a McDonald's because they seem to be meticulously clean. And I know that that's one of their deals, that they try to make them like that. And of course the food, I think the food's better, but that's just me. Some people would argue. But I get it. I get it. So yeah.
They're harder to find on the road.
Yes.
Or a McDonald's, you can usually hold it till the next sign you go by. McDonald's, this exit. That's where we're going.
Absolutely. There's one probably at every highway exit in America, probably in the middle of Arizona, in the middle of nowhere. There's probably a McDonald's there somewhere. So yeah, I hear you. That's true. That's very true. I saw a cool post on social media last week where somebody said, I don't know who's in charge, but whoever is in charge of the Chick-fil-A drive-through system should probably be running everything in the federal government, because they're so good. They just get things. You're in, you're out, you're through. The kids are smiling. You're happy. Here's your food. Thanks. Have a great day. See you next time. It's like, can you run the airport thing where I have to go through to get on a plane, to scan my baggage and take my shoe? Can you run that for me or whatever? So yeah, I think that would be awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it's true too. I mean, you can drive up. Now, I'm not a big lover. Oh, no, I'm not a big, do I go there? Like my wife would probably go there all the time if she could.
What's that, Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. I'm not a big Chick-fil-A person at all.
Okay.
I'm like way down the chain ladder for Chick-fil-A. But I will tell you, I went in with the wife going, oh my God, look at this line. Now, why are we going here? But you're in and out faster than you are if you're like the second car at McDonald's.
Absolutely, positively. And they're so good that it's like, but then you think to yourself, wait a minute, that we see something. This is another rant for another day, but I think it's a good one. And that is, we see somebody doing it right. And we're like, wow, look at that. But why aren't other people doing it right? Why do the rest of you guys suck so bad? And we just accept that. We're just like, God, that's awful. But, it's pretty much normal.
And I swear, God bless McDonald's, but they get slower and slower by the visit I make.
Really? I haven't been to a McDonald's in forever, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, it'd take you that long to get your food, so no worries.
Forever. I got two fast food stories like that, but I'll just do one of them. And I got both. I went through a chicken drive-through. I'll say it was Popeyes. Good chicken sandwich. Thank you, Popeyes. Awesome. Pulled into a drive-through in one here in my town in Gainesville, sat and did not go. And so I parked the car. I'm like, I'll go inside. Parked the car, went inside, and the 3 or 4 kids that are working there, I mean, it looks like, I guess they're working. But me and 2 other couples were standing in line waiting to order. Nothing, not a hello, not a be right with you, not a nothing. 5 minutes later, I walked out. Posted on their Twitter thing, because you can find fast food restaurants on Twitter, #Popeyes. Come on, Popeyes. I did this. I wrote the whole story. I mean, not the whole story. I wrote a paragraph of what happened. They got back to me and said, oh, we're so sorry. That's not, the usual PR spiel of like, oh, we're so sorry. That's not how it works. We'll handle it. We'll take care of it. Let us know where we want. So I DM'd them back, said it was at this store at this time, whatever. Never heard another word. Not another word. Okay. Lousy customer service. And yet somehow I've come to expect it. Okay, great. Now, Second one, here's my other one. And I'm not like a troll. I'm not like an old curmudgeon. Maybe I am. I don't know. Some people might argue that I am. Went to a local pizza place to carry out a pizza. I'll say it again because they did a good job with it. It was Little Caesars pizza, and got one of their specials that was pepperoni something, one of their pepperoni explosions, kind of a thing. And I got it home, and literally it looked like a pepperoni explosion. It looked like somebody had taken a big handful of pepperoni and thrown it on the pizza. And I took a picture of it and I posted it on the Little Caesars thing. And I said, come on, guys, you got to do better. And they actually got back to me and said, oh, we're so sorry. Tell us what, same thing. And then they wrote back and said, okay, we want to make it up to you. You get a free pizza, whatever you want, free pizza, here's the manager's name. Here's the case number, give it to them, blah, blah, blah. And they followed through, and I went and I got that pizza, and it was, of course, perfect. And of course, they gave me a free soda to go with it or something like that. So you can do customer service in a way that actually works. It's not that hard, but you got to care. You got to care enough to do it. All right. Bill's rant over for the day. I'm sorry. So one good experience, one not so good. So there you go.
That's what we should do sometimes. We need to do restaurant stories.
Oh my God. Restaurant stories. You and I would have a million of them. Because how many restaurants did we even broadcast from and all that sort of thing in our day? So yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Or actually, here's a better idea as the hour winds down. Hey folks, give us your restaurant stories. Give us your good ones. What is that? The old movie, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let us know if you had a great experience somewhere. Somebody that not just a regular every day. I went into Applebee's and they were great. I understand that. Something that went over and above, or something that failed miserably. And send it to us, and we'll do a story hour on the air. BJ and Bill podcast at Gmail.
Well, that's like here in town. There was a local pizza place, which is still here. Mm-hmm. So we call it because I like to call. Then some places don't deliver, so you got to pick it up. Of course, now
I'm okay with that.
DoorDash, I think everybody will deliver now.
Mm-hmm.
So we call. The kid answers, and he took my order. But before he gave me the total and all the other stuff he needed to do, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to put you on hold, a brief hold for just a minute or so. Okay, do that.
Okay.
Comes back, asked me what I wanted.
Yeah.
I told him again, blah, 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 exactly what I wanted. Okay,
right.
Thank you. It's going to be blah, blah, this much. I'll be here in 20 minutes or, 20 minutes and we'll have
sure.
food. I go in 20 minutes later. They have 2 pizzas prepared for me, both under my name. And I don't know, it's just probably some stupid kid that worked there that didn't know anything about the word customer service.
Right.
I go, I only ordered 1.
Right.
No, we got you right here. You ordered 2. I go, no, I ordered 1. No, it's right here. You ordered 2. You got to pay for both of them. What? No, you got to pay for both of them. You ordered 2 pizzas. You're going to pay for 2 pizzas.
I'll be happy to pay for 1 or none. Your choice.
That's basically what I said.
Oh, good.
But the sad thing is, they took my credit card on the phone. Because I looked at the bill, I go, what?
Yeah.
And so basically, a long story short, we took the 2 pizzas. I called the credit card company, and they refunded us all of our money. So we really made out in the end.
So you got 2 free pizzas out of it. Sweet. Nice. I like it. Yeah. And it's all nowadays. It's all self-inflicted wounds. Now, to use the fancy term, it's all these businesses doing it to themselves by just not paying attention to the little things. Come on, guys, like you said, pay attention. Now I understand. I get it that that nobody wants to work today, period. Nobody wants to work. And a lot of businesses struggle to find people, forget about finding good people. They're looking for warm bodies to fill the spots that they have open. I get it. I do. Everywhere I go, not everywhere. So many places I go, they have signs in the door that say, we'll help you as best we can, but please be aware we're struggling to, keep our doors open in these challenging times or what. Okay, I get it. I understand. I'm sorry that you're having trouble finding people, but I don't know. I don't know. I have a tough time with that. I really do. Maybe if you paid them more than minimum wage, you might get somebody who wants to work for you. I don't know.
But see, now there's another topic for another time. I believe so much in, a living wage that you can make a living at, but it's a vicious circle. You give everybody a wage that they can afford to live, the price of everything goes up. So now that you're giving them an affordable wage,
yes,
it's no longer an affordable wage because everything goes up. It's a vicious circle. There's no win at all in the vicious circle.
That is a discussion for economic experts smarter than you and I. And there must be I'm not saying there must be an answer, but I guess maybe there's you need something somewhere in the middle. That you're right. You're right. I mean, if everybody at McDonald's or Publix or Walmart was making $25 an hour, yeah, stuff would probably go up. And yet you can also make the argument that how many billions of dollars does Walmart need to make in profit versus what if you just paid people a little bit better and didn't raise your prices and took a little bit of a hit? But now you're up against, oh my God, our shareholders would kill us. We'd be, thrown out or what? All right.
That's a problem. Shareholders make the money and the little people, they make nothing. Wow. That was a fast hour.
That was a fast hour, BJ. Let's not leave it on this bummer of a thing here. Tell us something. What can we just now? All right. So here it is. Next week will be episode 21. And if we will have a plethora of songs to choose from for which to use our quote or our episode number. Have you got anything come to mind? I should look that up right now.
I'm just thinking of my first drink.
Your first drink was at 21?
Yeah. Now I don't know what Ohio was. Maybe we can discuss that on episode 21.
Yes.
Let's do that, young man. Wait till next week and we'll talk about our 21st birthdays.
Wow. 21st. Wow. I'm going to have to crank up the Wayback Machine for that one for sure. Holy mackerel. Cause that is, whew. All right. Well, I'm going to, I'll make sure I have plenty of coffee and I will join you again next week. How's that? We're all good for now?
Like a plan.
Sounds like a plan, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, if you have a story that you would like to share, restaurant, bathroom, whatever, BJ and Bill podcast at gmail.com or BJ and Bill podcast group on Facebook. Join us there. And until next week, it's just up to Mr. BJ Oldham to say,
see ya.